The first strip technique we're going to have right here is a hard strip with pause. I like to use this technique a lot when I'm fishing for really just all year round when I'm fishing for bass. It's a really good technique. You'll see here in a moment. It'll go really hard, or you'll strip it rather hard, and then you'll just kind of let it sit. And when you let it sit like that, most of the times finicky fish right on that pause, like right there, they'll hit it right there, and then you just strip it real hard and you'll have a fish on. I like to use this technique a lot in the summer times and in the fall times. It's a really good technique for those finicky fish. So in the fall times when the water temps are a little cooler and they're not really active like they normally are in the warmer months like spring and summer, obviously, this technique's really good because, as you'll see here in a moment, when you strip it and then you give it a nice pause, it'll sit for maybe a second, and they'll hit it right there. They'll pop it right there, and then you'll have a fish on. And there you go. This is probably one of my favorite stripping techniques with this fly. It's a hard strip with no pause, so this is going to be for really hyperactive bass. If you see them feeding a lot, you're literally just going to throw it right out to the school of fish that you see feeding, and you're just going to strip until obviously a fish gets on. This one is not the hardest to get the hang of. You're literally just going to throw it out there, strip it as hard as possible, and yeah, it really gets the fish triggered up. So this last one is going to sound a little stupid. I promise it's not. I promise it works. It's probably my favorite technique to use with this specific fly. You're literally just going to do like what it says. You're just going to throw it out there and let it sit. It might take 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. You'll catch anything from really big, nice sized fish to small fish, active fish to not active fish. This technique, I've noticed, has worked all year round. It's a really good technique, and I know it sounds stupid, but until you do it, it'll honestly change your entire thought of how you fish a fly. It really will.
Bobcat. He said, Bobcat. Oh, shit. Little dude right there. And that was on, I'm pretty sure I was just doing the slight pop. So, there you go. Nice little guy. Let's see if we can try and get him on a different retrieve. My line keeps getting tangled up. Here, let's do a... Yeah, we gotta fix this line real quick, because goodness gracious. I guess technically right now we're just doing the throw it out there and let it stand still, right? So let's do a pop. We're just gonna let it sit. Pop, let it sit. Pop, let it sit. So the thing I like about the pop, let it sit is that you're gonna attract a lot of the more fractious fish. So what you're doing is you're essentially imitating, like, let's say like a cicada or something that just fell out of a tree, and it's trying to get back to the shore. So you're just like pop, he's trying to get back, kind of ran out of breath, now he's floating back up. Most of the times the fish, in this case the bass, will hit it right then and there, just because that's when it's the most vulnerable and it's not moving. So it's a really easy target for them to hit. And that's where it's just, you know, and that's why the whole, like, just throwing it out there and letting it sit for literally like 30 seconds isn't a stupid idea. Because if the fish is around, they're going to be on it, you know? And it's actually pretty cool because I learned something that I never really thought about. So when you get hit by a bass and it's like a really, like, let's say like aggressive hit, that most of the time means that there's other fish around, and obviously they're hitting it harder just because they have to compete with other fish. So it's actually a really interesting fact about that, because if they hit it like that, then you can kind of go off of a whim and basically say that there's other fish in that area. And if they hit it very lazily, then that can very easily mean that there's not a whole lot of fish in that general area. So that's just a cool little tidbit that I learned. And I don't know if the camera picks it up really well, but every time I strip it, you can see like hundreds of little minnows. That's also a really good sign. And another tip, or another just like little like opinion of mine, is when you are fishing and you see a bunch of bait like that, don't throw something that's the same size. Throw something that's a little bigger. Throw something that's going to stand out a little bit more, and it's going to be a little easier for these bass to hit. So these little minnows are, well, here, look, they're all on my feet right here. So if you can see them, they're extremely tiny. They're extremely, extremely tiny. This is probably like 10 times as big as them. This is a bigger target, you know? Like the bass, like they're smart, but they're not that smart to where they're like, oh, that's not something that I should eat. So they just see a bunch of commotion on the surface, and they're just gonna clobber it. They're not gonna sit there and take time out of their day to like analyze it. Well, maybe that's a minnow, maybe it's not. No, they're gonna see a bunch of action, and they're just gonna wham. They don't think things. They don't think things through. It's not like that in the world of a bass. They're not the brightest animals on this earth. But yeah, it's just stripping it in slow, let the articulated diver go down and just slowly rise back up. And you'll get a lot of bites when it's just slowly rising back up like that. You'll be surprised how aggressive these fish can be. And I always carry around 2 sizes of these guys. So I have the size that I have on right now, which is a little bigger, and it's a bunch of line. Then I have this one, which is a little smaller. I might switch this one just because that fish was a little smaller, and there's probably a lot more of those guys around here. So I'll probably switch to this guy and see if we can catch anything on that guy. But we are just going to, throughout this week, I think it's going to be like a 3 or 4 day thing. We're just going to see how many bites and whatnot we can get off of these 2 articulated divers. Then I'll go back through all the footage, edit it together, blah, 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 you know. And we're just going to see how many bites we can actually get on these little guys, and how truly effective this one fly can honestly be. Because I've fished it for the past week, and it has really been, it's such a good fly. And I'm so irritated that like I just started fly fishing this fly, because it's just such a good fly. Oh, I thought I had something on right there. Nope. Okay, guys, okay. Let's get to catching some bass. God. Hey, come here. Yeah, little dude. I was just stripping it in small steady strips, so it really wasn't at the surface, it was on the bottom. And catch that little dude. Boop. And that little dude. And off he goes. There we go. There we go. She took that. There we go. There she is. Good God. Look at that. There you go, guys. Ooh, she is fired up. Decent little fish right there. I think, I honestly can't remember. I think it was twitch, 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 pause. And then I kept doing that. And she took it right on when it literally was just sitting there right in front of the weed line right there. And I was literally just about to recast, and she literally just took it, and she is hooked pretty good. I mean, I don't really think she was ever gonna get off of that. So there's that. Teeth are nice and sharp, which indicates they're feeding on all these bait fish in here. That's like a nice little like pound fish right there, and that's that. And that's why I said the just literally letting that little articulated diver literally just sit is not a stupid idea. It's actually a really effective way to fish that lure.